The city of New York has always been a canvas for the extraordinary, a vertical metropolis where the boundaries between reality and modern mythology blur under the glow of millions of amber lights. On any given Friday night, its grid of streets hums with the collective energy of millions of souls, each chasing a fragment of a dream. Oblivious to the historic moments unfolding just beyond the heavy velvet curtains of the city's most guarded sanctuaries. It is a place where the grandest stories are born, written in the quiet spaces between towering skyscrapers and within the monumental arenas that have witnessed the passage of cultural titans for more than a century. To understand the gravity of what transpired in the heart of Manhattan, one must first understand the sheer scale of the cultural currents that collided on this particular evening, bringing together two distinct worlds that have captivated the global imagination for months. The atmosphere in Manhattan was charged with a palpable, almost electric anticipation, an unspoken awareness that the epicenter of global entertainment was shifting toward a singular point of convergence. For over a century, the legendary arena known as Madison Square Garden has stood as the ultimate coliseum of entertainment, hosting iconic musical legends, historic athletic battles, and moments that define generations. Yet, on this cool evening, the historic venue was transformed into something entirely unprecedented, shedding its traditional role as a public theater to become the setting for a private fairy tale of monumental proportions. Security was absolute, creating an impenetrable perimeter around the building, while the surrounding streets filled with whisperings and speculative glances from passers-by who could sense that history was being made behind closed doors. The scale of the event was matched only by the absolute secrecy surrounding it, as an ironclad veil was drawn over the proceedings, leaving the public to piece together the magnitude of the occasion from the subtle clues vibrating through the autumn air. It is in moments like these, when the world's most recognizable figures step away from the blinding spotlights to create a sanctuary of their own, that we realize the true power of contemporary folklore. This convergence of pop royalty and athletic greatness represents a phenomenon that transcends mere celebrity culture, tapping into a collective desire for grand, enduring narratives in an increasingly fragmented world. As the evening progressed, the sheer scale of the gathering became impossible to completely conceal. With glimpses of high-security motorcades and the arrival of global icons hinting at the magnitude of the celebration unfolding within the garden's historic walls. To fully appreciate how these two parallel universes came to merge in such a spectacular fashion, one must look back at the long public journey that brought them to this moment, a journey watched by millions across oceans and time zones. If you wish to stay informed on the deepest details of this unfolding story and explore the hidden layers of the entertainment world's most significant events, consider subscribing to our channel for continuous, in-depth coverage and comprehensive analysis as we unravel the mysteries of this historic night. The narrative that led to this grand Manhattan evening did not begin under the bright lights of the arena, but rather through a series of public glances, subtle nods in stadium suites, and the unrelenting gaze of the global media, which tracked every step of their developing relationship. From the football fields of the Midwest to the sold-out stadiums of a record-breaking international concert tour, the bond between the pop icon and the professional athlete grew into a cultural touchstone, capturing the hearts of sports enthusiasts and music lovers alike. The synthesis of these two worlds created a unique cultural moment, where the strategies of the gridiron met the poetic lyricism of stadium anthems, culminating in a celebration that felt both intensely intimate and grandly cinematic. Inside the venue, away from the prying eyes of paparazzi and the ceaseless chatter of social media, a carefully curated world was constructed. One that paid homage to the journeys of both individuals while celebrating the community that supported them. Every element of the environment was designed to evoke a sense of timeless elegance, balancing the raw, historic energy of New York City with the refined sophistication of high fashion and classic romance. The guests, chosen from the highest echelons of entertainment, fashion, and sports, were brought together under a strict pact of discretion, ensuring that the sanctity of the evening remained intact while the rest of the world waited for a single shard of information. Among the early details to emerge from this fortress of celebration were the exquisite personal touches that reflected the deep artistic history of the bride, specifically a beautifully crafted keepsake that resonated with her past work. A close friend and celebrated country music star would later offer the world its first real glimpse into the delicate aesthetic of the evening, sharing an image of a pristine white handkerchief gifted to the attendees. This token, adorned with a custom monogram insignia, the wedding date, and the legendary location, bore an embroidered phrase that instantly connected the present moment to a defining chapter of the bride's musical legacy. The words inscribed upon the fabric were a direct nod to a massive hit from a decade prior, a song that defined an era of pop music and continued to hold a special place in the groom's heart as one of his absolute favorite compositions from her vast catalog. The inclusion of this lyric was not merely an aesthetic choice, but a profound statement of intent, signaling that the whirlwind romance which had captured the world's attention was meant to endure far beyond the temporary glare of fame. By referencing a track that speaks of timeless, chaotic, yet eternal connections, the couple anchored their celebration in the very artistry that had made the bride a global phenomenon. The country star who shared this detail captioned her revelation with yet another classic line from the bride's early career, creating a layered tapestry of musical references that delighted fans who had followed the romance from its very inception. This delicate interplay of memories and music set the tone for an event that was as much a celebration of shared history as it is a commitment to the future. As midnight approached, the surrounding city continued its relentless pace. Yet, within the walls of Madison Square Garden, time seemed to stand still for the select few who were privileged enough to witness the union. The contrast between the public persona of these two titans and the deeply emotional, private reality of their wedding day highlights the unique nature of modern celebrity, where the grandest moments must be fiercely protected to preserve their true meaning. The story of how this evening came together, the obstacles overcome by the intense public scrutiny, and the specific roles played by family and close friends reveals a deeply human narrative beneath the surface of the glamorous extravaganza. As we prepare to look deeper into the specific events of the ceremony, the extraordinary fashion choices, the star-studded guest list, and the emotional outpourings that define the night, the true scale of this cultural milestone begins to take shape, setting the stage for a revelation that will long be remembered in the annals of popular culture. The veil of absolute secrecy that had been drawn over Madison Square Garden began to yield its first vivid details as the night deepened, revealing a masterfully orchestrated event where high fashion, emotional vulnerability, and unparalleled star power intersected. At the center of this monumental celebration was the visual transformation of the bride and groom, who chose to anchor their historic day in the timeless artistry of French high fashion. The couple exchanged their vows dressed in custom Christian Dior haute couture, an extraordinary choice that elevated the proceedings from a traditional celebrity wedding to a landmark event in the world of contemporary style. The bride's gown was a masterpiece of meticulous craftsmanship, requiring hundreds of hours of delicate hand embroidery in the historic ateliers of Paris. Designed to capture the essence of classic romance while maintaining a striking modern silhouette, her choice of Dior haute couture reflected a profound appreciation for design history, mirroring her own journey as a meticulous creator who constructs enduring worlds through her art. Complementing her ethereal presence, the groom stepped away from his familiar athletic uniforms to embrace the pinnacle of sartorial elegance, donning a custom-tailored Dior tuxedo that emphasized the grandeur of the occasion. The professional athlete carried himself with a refined grace that matched the cinematic atmosphere of the arena, demonstrating the seamless transition he has made from the competitive arenas of the sports world to the grandest stages of global culture. The architectural vastness of Madison Square Garden, typically filled with the thunderous roars of thousands of sports fans or concertgoers, was artfully reconfigured into an intimate, high-security cathedral of light and shadow. Around 7:30 in the evening, the venue itself broke its silence, confirming the rumors that had circulated throughout the day by illuminating the digital displays surrounding the complex with the bold, celebratory declaration stating that the couple was officially married. This public acknowledgement sent a jolt of excitement through the gathered crowds outside and across global digital networks, marking the definitive moment that the private union became an indelible part of the city's history. Beyond the aesthetic brilliance of the setting, the true heart of the evening lay in the gathering of an extraordinary community of friends, family, and cultural icons who had traveled from all corners of the country to witness the ceremony. The guest list read like a definitive register of modern popular culture, bringing together influential figures from the realms of music, film, fashion, and professional sports, all united under a strict agreement to protect the privacy of the newlyweds. Among the closest confidantes in attendance were the bride's longtime creative peers and childhood companions, including her celebrated pop star friend Selena Gomez, global fashion icon Gigi Hadid, and acclaimed creator Lena Dunham, each representing different chapters of her life and career. The presence of her longtime publicist, Tree Payne, and her devoted childhood friend, Abigail Anderson, underscored the deep, unwavering loyalty that has anchored the bride throughout her meteoric rise to global dominance. On the groom's side, the worlds of professional football and Hollywood entertainment merged in spectacular fashion, reflecting the diverse community he has cultivated over his years in the spotlight. A significant contingent of his teammates from the Kansas City Chiefs, along with elite league athletes like George Kittle, represented the brotherhood of the gridiron, bringing an energy of camaraderie and shared achievement to the sophisticated New York gala. Adding a layer of unexpected cinematic charm to the proceedings, the groom's Hollywood co-star, the legendary comedian and actor Adam Sandler, took on the profound responsibility of officiating the wedding ceremony. Sandler balanced his characteristic warmth and wit with the solemnity required for such a momentous occasion, guiding the couple through their vows with a performance that brought both lighthearted laughter and deep sincerity to the historic stage. The couple's approach to their wedding party departed significantly from traditional norms, choosing to eschew the standard selection of numerous bridesmaids and groomsmen in order to shine a singular focused spotlight on their immediate family. This non-traditional decision was made to deeply honor their siblings, creating a touching dynamic that emphasized the foundational role family has played in their respective journeys to success. The bride's brother, Austin, stepped into the meaningful role of man of honor, standing proudly by his sister's side as a symbol of their lifelong bond and shared experiences navigating the complexities of the entertainment industry. Simultaneously, the groom's brother, Jason, a legendary figure in his own right within the sports world, served as the best man, embodying the fierce loyalty and public camaraderie that has defined their family name for a generation of football fans. The emotional gravity of the ceremony inside the garden was profound, characterized by an intense vulnerability that deeply moved everyone permitted within the inner circle. Despite the ironclad non-disclosure agreements that bound the vast majority of the attendees, the bride's aunt, Robin Gentry, offered a deeply touching and authentic glimpse into the atmospheric reality of the celebration. Speaking to reporters as she departed the historic venue in a high-security vehicle, Gentry described an environment filled with overwhelming joy and deep human connection, stating that the couple and their guests cried, laughed, danced, hugged, and kissed throughout the magical evening. Her words painted a picture of an event that, despite its massive scale and astronomical cost, remained fundamentally anchored in genuine love and familial warmth. Gentry remained resolutely tight-lipped when pressed for intricate details regarding specific conversations or secret schedules, but she enthusiastically confirmed that the hospitality was unmatched, noting the presence of abundant culinary options and revealing that the elaborate wedding cake was an absolute triumph among the attendees. The juxtaposition of this deep emotional sincerity with the sheer grandiosity of Madison Square Garden defines the unique nature of this union, illustrating how two individuals at the absolute zenith of their careers managed to create a private sanctuary of authentic feeling. Before the first guest had even arrived at the venue, the couple made a profound statement regarding their values and their shared vision for the future by executing a massive philanthropic gesture. Together, they directed a staggering $26 million to various charitable organizations, ensuring that their celebration of personal happiness would simultaneously fuel meaningful progress and support vulnerable communities across the nation. This extraordinary act of generosity transformed the lavish event from a display of personal wealth into a beacon of civic responsibility, setting a new benchmark for how global icons utilize their moments of peak cultural visibility. The tension between the public thirst for information and the couple's flawless execution of a secure private event created a fascinating cultural narrative that played out across the digital landscape as the night advanced. Every detail that managed to cross the perimeter, from the choice of lyric-adorned keepsakes to the emotional reflections of family members, served to deepen the global fascination with their story. As the initial ceremony concluded and the grand reception began to unfold in the heart of the arena, the celebration transitioned into a dynamic showcase of music, dance, and collective joy, setting the stage for the final revelations regarding the long-term impact of this historic night. The final hours of the historic gathering inside Madison Square Garden signaled not just the conclusion of a spectacular evening, but the beginning of a profound new chapter in the cultural landscape of the 21st century. As the echo of the vows settled over the grand arena, the deeper significance of this union began to resonate far beyond the immediate circle of celebrity friends and family members who had witnessed it firsthand. To understand why this particular marriage carries such immense cultural weight, one must examine the extraordinary journeys of the two individuals at its center, both of whom have rewritten the rules of their respective industries. The bride has spent over 2 decades evolving from a determined teenage storyteller into an absolute pillar of the global music industry, a rare artist whose words possess the power to shift local economies, redefine stadium entertainment, and give a definitive voice to the emotional experiences of multiple generations. Her path has been defined by a relentless commitment to artistic autonomy, a fierce loyalty to her global community of fans, and an unparalleled ability to transform personal narrative into universal poetry. Alongside her stands a professional athlete who has achieved the absolute pinnacle of success within the demanding realm of American sports, earning multiple championship titles while carving out a unique identity as an expansive cultural figure. His journey from a dedicated collegiate competitor to one of the most dynamic and charismatic personalities in the National Football League reflects a rare combination of physical excellence, public authenticity, and a natural ability to connect with diverse audiences. When these two distinct paths converged, it created a cultural phenomenon that transcended traditional entertainment categories, bridging the gap between the passionate communities of stadium pop music and professional sports fandoms. The synthesis of these two worlds was beautifully reflected in the specific elements of the wedding day, most notably in the choice of favors that connected the present celebration to the enduring power of the bride's creative history. The elegant white handkerchiefs decorated with the couple's monogram and embroidered with the classic line declaring that the connection would last forever served as a perfect bridge between past art and future reality. This specific lyric, drawn from an iconic pop track that the groom has long counted among his favorite pieces of her music, highlighted the mutual respect and deep understanding that forms the foundation of their relationship. The groom's public admiration for her catalog, specifically emphasizing tracks that celebrate modern romance and artistic brilliance, underscores the authentic appreciation he holds for her identity as an independent creator. The evening's festivities inside the arena eventually transformed into a vibrant celebration of life, resilience, and community, as the guests shed their formal constraints to dance late into the night beneath the historic roof of the garden. The presence of lifelong friends and immediate family members provided a vital emotional anchor for the couple, ensuring that the grand event remained grounded in the real human relationships that have sustained them throughout their public lives. The unique arrangement of the wedding party, featuring their siblings as the primary attendants, stood as a powerful testament to the value they place on family history and mutual support. The bride's brother standing as her primary pillar of support, and the groom's brother embodying the fierce loyalty of their shared athletic legacy, provided a visible representation of the foundational values that will guide the couple as they move forward together. The massive philanthropic contribution executed before the event further illustrated their shared vision for their wealth and influence, transforming a moment of personal celebration into a historic act of public good that will benefit countless individuals for years to come. By dedicating such significant resources to charitable organizations, the newlyweds demonstrated a profound understanding of their unique position as global icons, signaling that their partnership will be defined by purposeful action and systemic generosity. As the dawn began to break over the iconic skyline of New York City, the heavy doors of Madison Square Garden finally opened, and the spectacular motorcades dispersed into the quiet morning streets, leaving behind a legacy that will be analyzed and celebrated for generations. The ripples of this historic night continue to expand across the global media landscape, offering a rare example of a grand modern romance that successfully balanced the intense pressures of public visibility with the preservation of authentic human emotion. This union represents a rare convergence of excellence, creativity, and love, establishing a powerful narrative framework that challenges the temporary nature of contemporary celebrity culture. The stories of their individual rises to prominence, the challenges they have faced under the continuous gaze of the public, and the deliberate choices they made to protect the sanctity of their wedding day all combined to form an enduring modern epic. As the world watches them embark on this collective journey, the events of this unforgettable Friday night in Manhattan will remain a defining cultural touchstone, a moment when the worlds of music, sports, and fashion united to celebrate a bond built to endure far into the future.